Hey everyone, it's Robert back again with another video. Robert's on my turntable. Hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful day out there. Just came back from walking the doggies. The snow is melting, sun is shining, spring is in the air. We're supposed to be changing our times this weekend, so spring ahead. Looking forward to it. I love the nights where it's still light out at 9 o'clock in the evening. That's my time, spring and summer. But wanted to join in on a contest. I'm trying to catch up with everyone, man. There's so many contests, there's so many feeds, there's so many things to do, and it's awesome. I've got 2 series going on, and I want to continue those because I love doing them. Trying to catch up with all these great entries, and it's just it's almost a full-time job, even though I have a full-time job. But this is from the amazing Jeff Whitcher, Vinyl Destination. Man, this guy, one of the nicest guys in the BC. He's a comic for sure. You can see the smirk in his face, but he's so serious when he does it. But so sincere. Like, he left me a message yesterday or the day before that was just so kind. So kind. And you don't even know these people, even though you do know them, if you know what I mean. I want to meet him. I want to spend some time with him. If Glenn goes to Detroit, I'm going to hide in the trunk and take off with him. Because I think it'd be an amazing time to meet Jeff, as well as so many other people. Shannon and Lisa and Aaron, and I could go on and on. I'd love to go meet Kristen as well. I mean, I could name so many people, and I'm probably forgetting 1,000 people. George in Florida, I want to see that tornado room. I mean, the violin community is just full of so many great people and personalities. And we're all unique. We all have our own style. There's no borders in the violin community, which I love. And that's the amazing thing of it. We all get along. It's great stuff. Anyway, I could ramble on about that forever, but it just means so much to me. So Jeff's contest, show 5 albums, and this is a hard one, Jeff, because there are so many, but show 5 albums that shaped your musical style, if I have that correct. I'm just going by what my other great friend Glenn Kellaway just posted his. Sorry, your musical tastes. Again, difficult one because there's so many, and he's limiting it to 5, which is cool. But I could have named 100. So I'll get started here. Don't want to take up too much time. So I didn't really get into rock and progressive rock till my early teens. Like, I'm talking grade 7, grade 8, middle school, I guess, to the American people, my American friends. So growing up, yes, I listened to AM radio and some FM, all these one-hit wonders, you know, the top 100 every New Year's Eve or New Year's Day type of thing. But growing up, it was all country music, because that's what my parents listened to. And they never really had a stereo. It was all through the radio in the car and the radio, that type of thing. But we'd go camping, and there was 6, 8 other families at the time. And of course, at night, they'd all sit around the campfire with the guitars out and other things out, drinking and playing and singing all these great country songs. Now, that didn't really turn me on to country, even though I appreciate it. But when I watched these guys on all these variety shows, and some of them had their own shows, I really get into their playing, the twang of that telly guitar, and the amazing finger picking that they had. And that's what I was watching. I wasn't really watching the performer, unless he was playing himself. But I was watching the performers, and especially this guy here, Roy Clark. Probably one of the best guitarists ever. I mean, if you take him and Glenn Campbell and put them in a room together, they'd probably be the best guitarist in the world. This guy was tapping, he was finger picking, he could play any instrument, stringed instrument. Amazing. Of course, he had great vocals as well, but just the playing that he did, and that really influenced me to pick up a guitar, attempt to play it. I played for quite a while, actually. Was in a small band and stuff, and then I lost it, and my fingers are they need a lot of work to get back into it again. But that's what influenced me in the early beginnings, in my early years, like before I hit um, uh, middle school, you call it, or grade 7, grade 8. It was all this type of thing, and of course all the variety shows. I think of Johnny Cash and his great band, his great player that he had, all these great variety show type of performances that you watched every whatever night it was, Sunday nights. So that's what influenced me in the beginning. And then I went to grade 7, different school, different bunch of people who were into music that I didn't even really hear about. And the music teacher at the time allowed us to bring in an album to listen to, I think, every Friday. And I can't remember his name. I've been trying and digging in my head to remember his name, but he was so cool to allow us to do that. Had a small turntable, a little speaker, but he allowed us to bring in albums. And one of the first albums I ever heard was Zeppelin 4, Stairway to Heaven. Of course, the small band we picked up in grade 7 or 8, we tried to play Stairway to Heaven. I think that's probably the only song we knew in our band, and we played at all these dances. We played a couple other tracks, but Stairway to Heaven was always the main song we played. But this got me. It just opened my eyes to a whole new world. And a guy that was in my class, his brother was a musician, and he was an amazing player. I brought my guitar over one day, I remember, and we were just plucking away. It didn't sound, and he grabbed it, fine-tuned it a bit, and just wailed on it, and just made that guitar that I thought sounded good just sound amazing. And of course, he was playing a lot of Led Zeppelin tunes. So that influenced me for sure in playing and getting into it. The tones, the acoustic, the vocal range of Robert Plant, the playing of Jimmy Page, just remarkable, remarkable stuff. And then someone else brought in this one, and that changed my life to hard metal, hard rock, and early heavy metal. And that got me into so many other bands. And it's still my favorite album today. Still sounds just as good today. And it's a remarkable album. So if it wasn't for my earlier teens, whatever I was at that time, 12, 13, 14, getting into the style of music. And then that got me into all kinds of other bands like Aerosmith and early AC/DC and all these great bands that were hard rock at the time, or considered hard rock at the time. But this was definitely one to change my life forever. And it's a classic, no pun intended, it's a classic rock album, and it's done classic rock style on the earlier forms of heavy metal. And when I heard Ian Gillan's voice, and just remarkable stuff. Remarkable stuff. Then my first concert, my first major concert, I'd seen concerts around my area and stuff. And I haven't been I haven't seen a lot of bands. I've seen quite a few, but not as many as other people have seen. But this was my first major concert in Toronto, to go to Toronto from my hometown, which is about 2.5 hour drive. And again, a little bit of influence going on there as well, which I'll keep unnamed, but it helped us through this concert for sure. But I saw these guys promoting this album in Toronto you got Eddie Van Halen just wailing away. I mean, he blew the doors off. And you've got David Lee Roth jumping 10 feet in the air, doing the splits, all the acrobatics he's had on stage. And then the great rhythm of Michael Anthony and let's I can't remember his name now. What's the brother's name? Alex. Sorry, Alex. Yes, the heavy drumming of Alex. And what a stage show this was. We were sitting off. It was obviously the Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens. We were sitting, so you're facing the stage. We were sitting on the right hand side. Pretty good view of it, and they had these different stages off. And of course, Eddie would run up, play some leads. Dave would run up, sing some song, and they'd all, except for Alex, of course, but they'd all be running around the stage, just amazing stuff. And that got me into arena style rock bands, big time. But it was a great album. And then that classic story of the minister and his family. Our family gets invited over to the minister's house for dinner. So the parents were upstairs talking away. The kids go downstairs. The minister's son puts on this album and blew my mind. Just amazing stuff. This isn't the original version of it, but I've enjoyed this album ever since. I still discover things every time I listen to it. It's enjoyable from start to finish. I appreciate it more because of the maturity, I guess, that I have in music. But when I heard this, it just was remarkable. And who would have think a minister's son was into Pink Floyd and other bands? He had a ton of albums at the time. Many more albums than I did. But it was pretty cool to discover this. I immediately went out and bought it. But that got me into other progressive bands like early Supertramp, all these other great bands that were considered. Jethro Tull was another one that I get into after I listened to this one. Jethro Tull and Supertramp, I think, were the big ones. When I heard Crime of the Century, and when I heard Aqualung, amazing stuff. So that got me into the progressive rock side of things. I didn't really discover Yes and Genesis till later. It was more just the classic rock style, the stuff you'd hear on the radio, and that's what I got into as far as my musical taste. But when I heard this one, just remarkable stuff. But I got to go on and talk about so many other albums that influenced me, but these are the main 5. And Roy Clark was just an example of the finger style. Not necessarily that I was into Roy Clark at the time, but his style of playing influenced me. The other players in the country bands influenced me as far as focusing on the playing of a player. And then, of course, Van Halen and Deep Purple and Pink Floyd, of course, and just remarkable stuff. So great contest. If you don't know Jeff, which I'm sure you are because he's at 500 subs already within a year, that's remarkable. Jeff, you're a remarkable guy. But go to his channel. I'll put a link below to it. Sub, like, leave awesome comments, please. Leave awesome comments. And good luck to everyone. Take care. Bye now.